What if a company's annual report wasn't just about the money? Today, we're going to dig deep into Titan Company's latest filing. We're going to search for the real story, the one that's usually hidden inside hundreds of pages of corporate jargon. We're looking for its soul.
Okay, let's be real. When you see a document that's 400 pages thick, your mind probably goes straight to endless charts, balance sheets, and numbers. Lots of numbers. It's dense, it can be a little intimidating, and it usually tells just one story: profit and loss.
But what if we ask a different kind of question? If we look past the spreadsheets, what does a report like this really tell us about a company's values, its priorities, what it truly cares about when the money's been counted? That's the story we're chasing today. And the crazy thing is, to find the answer, we don't even have to look that far. The key is a framework that Titan itself lays out right there in its own report. It's a pretty fascinating way of looking at value that goes way beyond just money. They call it the value creation model, and you can think of it like a blueprint for success that isn't just about financial gain. It's this whole big picture view that measures how they're doing across 6 completely different areas they call capitals. So here they are. You've got the ones we all know, right? Financial and manufactured capital. Basically money and the stuff you make. But this is where it gets really interesting. Human, natural, and social capital. This kind of thinking is becoming so important because investors and customers want to know more. And companies are realizing that to be successful long-term, you need more than just profit. These 6 pillars, they give us a map to the whole story. All right, let's start with what we all know. Before we get to the soul, we gotta understand the body. What does Titan actually make, and is it making money? This is our financial and manufactured capital. So let's just ground ourselves in the numbers for a second. These 2 subsidiaries tell a pretty clear story. You've got Carrot Lane, their jewelry brand, turning over almost 4,200 crore. Then there's Teal, their automation solutions company, bringing in over 860 crore. This financial strength, this is the engine that powers everything else we're about to explore. Okay, so the company is profitable. Check. But that's just the start of the story, isn't it? Who are all the people actually making this happen? Let's dive into their human capital. This is where we shift from the spreadsheets to the stories. We're going to look at how the company invests in its people. Everyone from a manager in the head office to an artisan in a tiny workshop. And listen to this. This isn't some generic mission statement cooked up by a committee. This is a direct quote from Sarvanan, a senior design manager. Hearing from an employee in their own words like this, it tells you so much about a company culture where people feel seen and celebrated. And a story like Sarvanan's doesn't just happen by accident, right? It's backed up by actual systems. We're talking about specific programs like CREST, which is all about making manager-team relationships better. They've got leadership development for all levels, a retail academy to get people ready for the front lines, and they've even been recognized for their consistent inclusion of persons with disabilities. But here's what's really cool. Titan's idea of human capital doesn't stop at their own front door. It reaches out to this huge network of artisans. The people who are keeping India's traditional crafts alive. They're the heart and soul of their products. And their approach is about building something lasting, not just buying products. These Karigar centers let jewelers work near their homes, which is huge for families. And the Weavershalas are bringing old traditions back to life, including one that's run entirely by women. This is a real investment in the community and the craft itself. Okay, so we've seen this deep commitment to people, both employees and artisans. But what about the world they're all living in? That brings us to another stakeholder that never shows up on a balance sheet, the planet. Let's look at their natural capital. So this section is all about their environmental footprint. We're looking at things like carbon neutrality, being water positive, and biodiversity. What are they actually doing to build a more sustainable future? I'm just going to throw a number at you. 208,000. That's how many native saplings they've planted as part of their Titan Venom initiative. It's a massive number, but what does it actually mean on the ground? It means this. Those little saplings are part of a massive scientific project to restore 45 acres of forest that was completely degraded. So this isn't just about planting trees for good PR. It's a real, targeted effort to bring an entire ecosystem back to life, to create a home for wildlife, and to pull carbon out of the atmosphere. Okay, next up, water. And the number to remember here is 370 million. That's 370 million liters. And that number,
That represents the new water capacity they created from just 7 projects to rejuvenate natural water bodies. This is a huge part of their goal to become water positive by 2030, which means they'll actually return more water to the environment than they use. Think about that for a second.
And this commitment, it completely reshapes their supply chain. You can see they're making a huge move toward a circular economy. I mean, a staggering 75% of their brass is recycled. For precious metals, it's 30% of their gold and 25% of their silver. This is about so much more than just waste. It's about fundamentally changing their reliance on mining and on resources that will one day run out.
All right, so we've covered people and we've covered the planet. Let's zoom out one last time and look at their social and relationship capital. This is all about the company's role as a citizen in the broader community.
And their impact here is huge. They're running village development programs to help with farming and education. They're actively supporting dozens of rural craft businesses. And what I think is really key is how they handle ethics. They don't just have a code of conduct, they use creative stuff like live theater to bring it to life for everyone. It's about building an entire ecosystem based on trust. So we've gone on quite a journey here, haven't we? Through finances, people, the planet, and the community. We've seen how Titan is using all these different capitals to measure its own performance. So what's the big takeaway here? Ultimately, this whole report leaves us with a really powerful question. In this day and age, where do we find a company's true value? Is it only on the balance sheet? Or is it also found in the well-being of its people, the health of our planet, and the strength of our communities? Titan's report seems to be suggesting the answer is all of the above, and that might just be the future of how we define success.